Alright guys, so we're going to do some cuttings here that I've never done before. And I love the plants. I've just never gotten around to do it because I've got so many different plants that I'm propagating all the time. Begonias. So look at these guys. My wife and I went and picked these up from Jason's greenhouse in Yelm, Washington. Maybe, I don't know, a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And I just had them sitting off to the side. I was waiting for them to do something, put on a little size, and it is time to take some cuttings of these beauties. We've got a red and we've got a yellow down there. And here's the thing. So I got a comment recently and somebody commented on that video I did with the yogurt cup and the geranium. Was it a geranium? Mm-hmm. Did I call those geraniums or begonias?
Begonias.
Thank you. Jeez. I need to get this stuff straight. The video I did with the geraniums and the yogurt cup here, and the guy said, why are people thumbs downing, disliking this video? It's just a basic gardening video about propagation. I mean, why would somebody thumbs down it? So I thought hard about it, and I thought, I know what the problem was. They didn't like the variety. They didn't like the flavor of yogurt that I used. And so we're doing a different flavor. We're doing vanilla this time, and hopefully those people will enjoy that flavor of cup more. And then the other thing was I thought I'd put a couple kids in the video, and I thought, who can dislike the kids? I mean, jeez, I gotta use every angle I can here to get in the
serious, a different kind of yogurt.
Come on, Allie, don't you think just maybe it's the flavor? You think that's the problem?
Probably not.
Alright guys, so what we want to do, here's the whole plant here, and I'm going to kind of zoom into a branch. You see this branch here? It's got blooms on it, and that's another question I get a lot. Can I take a cutting off of a blooming stalk and still get the thing to root? Absolutely. You just need to cut the blooms off because that bloom is taking a ton of energy out of that cutting, and also it's going to start wilting like these guys are as it gets near the end of its life, and those will just promote rot inside the propagation frame or tote or whatever you're using. So you want to cut all the blooms off before you put them in the propagation area. But that is a nice big stalk right there, and we're going to cut it below a node way down here, and then we're going to start whittling away at all these little leaves coming on up along here, and we're going to stick that stalk right down into the soil. Yep, just snip it off. Boom, there you go.
Whoa.
And then there's what it looks like inside. Kind of a strawberry color there. So now we want to cut all of the little blooms off of this, Allie. I'm going to hold it over here, and if you'll kind of lean over and just snip, see where these blooms are coming up out of the new growth here? I want you to snip them. Nope, no, not the green, just right up here. Snip those blooms off. Boom, got that guy. And then this guy, actually, I'll turn it around here. Snip that little one off. All right, we got all the blooms, one left there, and I'll knock them off of there. And then we're down to just the plant there. All right, so we're going to snip this guy off. Turn him around. We're going to snip this guy right here. There's our little cutting. That's what we're left over with. And we're going to stick that down into the rooting medium. Alright, so now we've got our little yogurt cup here. And I'm going to take this little dibbler and we're just going to make a hole. Alright, so that's our rooting hormone. That's the hormone 3. That's a way stronger concentration than we need for these plants. But I'm just going to barely put a little bit on the bottom of that guy, shake off the excess, and we're good to go. And I just use this because it's out here and it's just, you know, it's an old jar of rooting hormone and I'm using it up. But I'm going to set this little cutting down into that bark there, just like that. We're going to kind of pack around it. And the one thing that I want you guys to realize is that I did not water any of this. That was moist bark. It was already kind of moistened from the pot of roses that we did before. And I just stuck it right in there. There was a few drops of water I threw in there, but that was about it. I didn't water any of this. I'm going to put that lid on and we're done. All right, did you find another good cutting, Allie?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a great cutting. Go ahead and knock them off of there. Thank you, Begonia. There you go. Snip those flowers off of there. Good job.
Do I snip the leaves off?
Not the top leaves, just the bottom leaves. There you go. Down near the stalk. You ready? Ooh, you hear the hummingbird? They want to see the hummingbird. Look at that. He took off. All right, let's get back on track.
Are you going to put that in the video?
Maybe. I don't know. Now we've got our little cutting. Let's get it in the pot. You remember what to do now?
Mm-hmm.
You got your rooting hormone. Okay, Emily's got the dibbler and she's making a little hole. You've dipped it in the rooting hormone? Mm-hmm. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and put it in the propagation tote there. There you go. And now I'll go ahead and push it down. I know you guys don't want to get them slivers on your hands. We'll push all that down. Let's put the lid on top. And it just kind of pushes that little cutting down in there. And there we go. That's it. You're all done. So let's go ahead and find another good cutting in there. Isn't that a beautiful yellow?
Cut it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful yellow.
It sure is. All right, you got your branch. And now what do we do first?
You cut the flowers.
Get all them flowers off of there. As beautiful as they are, we got to knock them flowers off because we're just trying to get down to some vegetative material that will grow us some roots for more plants. There you go. Just don't take my finger off. I only got a couple more left. All right. All right. Emily, you got the dibbler. Dibble a little hole in there. There you go, buddy. And we got Allie. And she's dipping it in the rooting hormone just a little bit. That's some strong rooting hormone. And we're going to have to shove her down in there. Yep. Alright, and I'll pack it in just so you guys don't have to get all that. Now, if you guys didn't have fine fir bark like we do, and that's one of the disadvantages, this stuff can really kind of get slivery in your fingers if you're not careful. You can always use potting soil. You just don't want to overwater. You just want to keep things lightly moistened. That's it for the cuttings. Go ahead and pop the lid on, E. You got it. Good job. What a fun little project.
Look at that flower.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Go ahead and work them down to a nice little cutting.
Do I do this one?
Yep, go ahead. I'd probably take the other one too. And we're probably good. Alright, moving over to the next step. Emily, you're the dibbler. Dibble, dibble. Alright. Allie's getting the rooting hormone going there. Alright, let's stick them down there in the soil. Perfect. I'll get them patted down in there.
Nice plant.
Yeah, it sure is, isn't it, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, we got the lid on. All right, here we are, guys, on the north side of a building. This thing gets shade all day long. No sun hits it, and I've been saying that forever and ever and ever. But we're going to set all of our little yogurt cups full of geranium cuttings right over here on the north side of the building. Actually, let's set them on this side of the blocks of wood, hon. Let's set them right here. So lots of cool shade down in here. We're just going to set them right here. There we go. There we go. See all that humidity building up in there? It'll be okay right there, Ems. It's not going to be perfectly level, but that's okay. In fact, we could get some wood and set them up on that. How's that? What do you think about that, dudes? There you go. Talk about makeshift. There they are, all of our geranium cuttings, guys, and you can see the humidity already building up inside of them. We've got the vanilla flavored yogurt this time, so hopefully there won't be any dislikes on this because we switched the variety of yogurt. I know some people don't like strawberry, but there's all our cuttings. They are you liked that, didn't you, Allie? Mm-hmm. They are going to do absolutely fantastic, I hope. Let's cross our fingers and we'll see what happens, guys. I'll come out when something is there to show you. So gosh, guys, these little begonia cuttings are taking like 10 times as long as I really wanted them to. I don't even remember when I started these things, but today is August 27th, and I took the lids off of them. I brought them back into the hoop house because they started rooting out. And here we are. We've got some good green growth still going on, a little yellowing towards the edges. They need some fertilizer, but they've got roots. They're nice and tight down in there. Some of them, actually. This one, it wants to, ooh, it's starting to form roots. Look at that. It's starting to form roots. I don't know why these guys are so slow going. I think I got a late start on them. This one's got a few roots. I already checked them. And these two right here, they're snuggled in nice and tight. So I don't think I want to mess with them too much right now. I want to give them a little more time, get some fresh air flowing through these guys, and just see if they'll just put on more roots. I might add a little bit of a light fertilizer just to give them a little help through, you know, the rest of the sunny days of summer here. And then hopefully we'll get some more roots, and then we'll pull them out of here and pot them up. All right, so let's recap for a second because there's been a lot of time pass here. So on July 20th, we started those cuttings. And the last little clip you saw was August 27th, so a little over a month later. Today is September 13th. So we're getting close to 2 months since we stuck those begonia cuttings. I keep wanting to say geranium. These are begonias. And we're going to see what they're looking like now. So I've let them get a little bit of root growth going on in there after I took the lid off of those yogurt cups and put them in here August 27th. So let's go look at them real quick, see where they're at since August 27th to September 13th, if they've put on some more root growth, how they're looking. So here we are, guys. These guys are still just sitting there not doing a whole lot, but I have not added any fertilizer yet. The really cool thing though is they're all still alive. They're all still alive and viable. We're getting late in the season, starting to get cool out, so I don't expect these guys to do a whole lot. And I was hoping this project originally was going to be done and already up for you guys to see by this time, but they've taken so long to root and get going. I'm not sure why. We'll work on that later. But because of that, I'm going to bring these guys indoors now. And if you watch that last video, well, not the last video, but the video that I made about the LED lighting, I'll put a link down in the description below and up in the corner if we're still doing that. And if you watched that, now we're going to take off from there and bring these guys indoors, and we're going to start growing these indoors in a little bit warmer environment under some grow lights so we can see if we can get these guys to just start doing really awesome and shooting up here. All right, so we're on my back porch here and I've got some potting soil. The reason I bought this potting soil is because I don't want it for the indoor grow. We have a tendency to get more bugs and things going on in here, gnats and, you know, just mites and things like that. So I want to start over with some fresh inert material. So I bought a good high quality potting soil that includes mycorrhiza fungi. It's that Pro Mix stuff. Comes in a big bale and it's basically just peat moss, perlite, and you've got some mycorrhiza throughout that, but we can add our own nutrients to it and it'll be relatively inert. So let's go ahead and get these guys potted up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and tease these roots out of here gently without disturbing them too much. We're going to pot them up into these little deli cups. They're relatively the same size, but I don't have holes in the bottoms of these and I want to preserve these for later use. This is the little guy that I pulled out and then shoved back in, and I know you guys were cringing when I did that, but let's see what we got. Well, it looks like he's recovered and bounced back fully. All those roots have grown on real nice and we've got a good little root ball going on with that guy. Looks like this one had the biggest roots of all, and this is one of the yellow varieties. He rooted out pretty nice. Got a nice little firm root ball on him. Now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this tote here because I need something to put them all in. That's a metal grate they're going to be going on, and then when I water it'll just drip down into the tote. So I'm going to place all of these guys right in here. We got the 2 yellows and then the 2 red flowering varieties. Alright, I've got some plant fertilizer that I mixed up in a gallon jug. We've put it into a little watering spout here and I am going to water these guys in. So like I said, this is an inert medium, this Pro Mix, and it doesn't have nutrients in it, so you've got to fertilize, and that's what we're doing now. I'm just going to give them a good watering, and it's going to soak up quite a bit because there's a lot of peat in this, and it's not dry, it's just very lightly moistened, I would say, but it needs more moisture for these roots, and I'm also giving it the nutrition that they need so these guys can just start growing like crazy, because up until now they haven't gotten any nutrition. Alright, so now we're putting these begonias underneath their new little light in their new little home, and if you remember, I did a little unboxing of that light. Not really a review, just an unboxing of that light from the Sansi company, because they sent me this beautiful LED light and I want to see how it's going to work out. So I've got a spot for these guys to rest. The light's off. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Now remember, this is 70 watts and we're going to see how well this lights up in this area. All right, here it goes. Wow. That little sucker really puts out some light, man. This camera's adjusting to it, so it doesn't look near as bright as I see it when I look at it through the camera, but trust me, it is putting out a massive amount of light. That is really cool for 70 little watts, and it's such a beautiful, true daylight white light, man. And it's got all the spectrums. That's what I love about these LEDs, is they've got a full spectrum of plant light, you know, of light for the plants, so that they can absorb all those lights and really go to town just putting on tons of growth. So there's our little begonias. They're all started up. We got them rooted. It's been almost 2 months. They've got roots on them now. They're potted up. They've got fertilized. And now we've got them under some beautiful little LED lights. So we're going to see how these guys do. I'm really excited about this, but I'm even more excited to see how these begonias develop. So we'll come back when there's something to show you. Remember, today is September 13th, and we'll give them a little time and see what happens here. See how things develop. Well, look at what we have here, guys. Look at those beautiful begonias just shooting off and growing well. So one of them didn't make it. He was struggling, he was trying so hard, and then he just rotted and died. But the other 3 bounced back and did beautifully. And look at all that new growth. And they're all growing really well under that little 70-watt Sansi light. Take a look at those guys. Just beautiful. The only downside that I found so far is that I want a lot more room to grow under, and this isn't a real big light, but it's done the job. It's provided everything that these little guys needed to grow. I fertilized these pots, we added the lights, and they are just growing into beautiful begonias. So now we are running out of room, and you can see them stretching for the light there. So I'm going to take these guys, bring them indoors now where it's a little bit warmer, inside under the table there where I usually do my figs, and we're gonna see how these guys do under the fluorescent lights from here on. Man, I barely squeaked that one out, but it never ceases to amaze me that you can take any cutting, and as long as you can just keep that little bit of genetic material alive, if you got one little root, all it takes is one little tiny root, and if you just baby that thing, you can take that genetic material from a parent plant and you can move it through that tough little stage and get it going. It don't matter if you start with this little insignificant cutting that's barely trying to hold on to life. If you can get that thing going, if you can get it going, that genetic material will carry through and you'll end up with this, and you'll have a beautiful plant, and regardless of that beautiful plant, you'll have the same genetic material to carry forward into the future. And that's why I love plant propagation. It never ceases to amaze me. So anyway, whether we squeak by on that one or not, we got 3 beautiful geranium, there I go again, begonia plants to carry on into the future. So hope you guys liked this one. If you did, if you learned something from this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to follow along and see how these little guys turn out. Have a fantastic week, guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Adios.